fucking button.
And can you see my face?
I can see your face.
Okay. Pardon me.
Okay. Can you remind us what the question was that I just asked you?
You told me it's something we don't want to speak about for a while.
Yeah. But do you remember the question?
No. I don't have
Okay,
to
so-
lie. I don't have to lie.
The question was, if you weren't called Walter, what would you want to be called?
Wally. Oh, I wasn't supposed to answer right
We're
away.
not talking about it. And
What happens when you can't, when you're kind of like really smart but stupid? It was a crazy house because we had a phone that actually, there was something with a telephone company, but it like was connected by mistake to another house. So we would receive their phone calls. And we had recently had a guy die in the house, dead Mark. It wasn't from us, it was, things. But I guess it was because he had to disconnect his phone, but somehow his phone connected to another house. So we would receive the phone calls of this house, and we didn't know who they were, and that house could talk to us. So I remember a phone call, and someone says it is Lewis. I don't remember the guy's name. It was a woman who called. I said, Lewis is busy. She was calling Lewis's house, but it was our house in Westwood, and but I was being a wise guy, so I said, Lewis is busy. And apparently this woman who called was his girlfriend. So she's like, what do you mean he's busy? Who's he with? I'm like, oh no, he's not with anyone. And she starts getting hysterical about Lewis. And she thinks he's cheating on her. And here I am. It's a phone screw up. But I'm already in the role. I'm already there. I have to take control of Lewis, and his girlfriend was angry. And I'm like, Lewis is here. And I don't know, she hung up. Oh, that was dead Mark. His name became Dead Mark. Look, I was asked who died in the house, and it was Dead Mark. He was a good guy. And the thing is I moved into the house. My brother lived there, and it was great. So I'm from Brooklyn, so I wanted to live in Brooklyn and New York. I joined a band and stuff like that. But I moved into the house. Mark, at that time, he was not dead Mark, he was alive Mark, but he saw me move in. I'm a nice guy. My brother travels a lot, so I took over my brother's room. But he didn't know that a band would move in. So that was a problem because, no one told him. And he was a nice guy, but so we set up in the living room and we're playing music, and the benefit was because there was an issue, because suddenly, someone moves in with a band and nothing was mentioned. So I said to Mark, okay, when do you want us to be silent? And Mark had a favorite show. And I'm not saying it was Bonanza, but it was something like that. So as long as we were quiet during the show, that consideration of the band, he didn't care. We showed Mark, band considerations, but then he became Dead Mark. And even history Because I know the truth about history. I mean, I know, who was it? The guy who, he rode a horse from New York to Boston, Revolutionary War.
I mean, are you talking about Paul Revere?
Paul Revere, okay. That's Francis, the interviewer. He's good, he knows facts. But Paul Revere only rode at 1.5 miles. Okay, that's the fact. And then the other dude carried the rest of the way to Boston.
Actually, there's a young woman who.
It was a woman who carried
It was a young woman who did like a much larger run than he did.
Okay, so a woman actually did.
Like a young
woman did the work, because it's a lot. So he just did the publicity stunt. Paul Revere. Paul Revere. So he rides 1 mile and that's it, and the woman takes over and boom, does the work. Also, he was only brought in because of his name. His name was Paul Revere.
Fucking good name.
It's a great name, and it did lead to music and stuff like that, but it was a great name because there was a guy who was originally supposed to do it. I think it was Jim Oglethorpe, and that's just the way it works. So I'm a professor. Fucking button. You said the last time.
I said the last time.
Francis said the last time. He said the last time. Oh, I'm sorry.
I said, what do you miss from 25 years ago?
Oh, what do I miss from 25 years?
What do you miss?
Miss from the Muggies.
On the subway. All right, okay.
I miss the Muggies because now, I miss, the music and stuff like that, but I'm saying that there's not the excitement. I have been kidnapped, and this is my speaking to America.
What do you miss about the subway from 25 years ago?
What do I miss, Francis asked, from the subway from 25 years ago? One of the muggings. I mean, it was always a thrill, to chase a mugger, like around lunchtime. Well, this was actually above ground, then they go into the subways, but around lunchtime they would grab chains, people's wallets. This is 25 years ago, like the 90s, or whenever the hell it was, 80s, But what was good is you'd see them grab it, and then you chase them, because it's like noon, 1 o'clock. They grab the chain because everyone's eating lunch, so no one's gonna run after them. But it's a great workout. It's the best workout you can have, because you're exhilarated, the crowds are going nuts, it's like they point in the directions of where the dude's going, and you run through parking lots, a couple blocks, and eventually you lose them, but the dude earned it. And then sometimes they come into the subway, so you're chasing them, again, it's usually around noon or 1 o'clock, 42nd Street, 34th Street, Midtown, but then again, 30 years ago, when people had lunch around that area, because they wanted to hit you after you hit the machines, your money machines, and had lunch, you're fat and just walking around. So they grab your chains, they grab your wallet, boom. But I one time had a guy run into the subway, so I'm chasing him, and then, I give up, I don't care. But then he turns around and I flip him into a wall because he ran to police, so that was exciting. Or chasing a guy into an abandoned building, but then people walk around, so it's confusing. Or getting mugged on attempted muggings. There are always attempted muggings. I once had a dude come up to me, he wanted me to give him my jacket and sit down. And I'm like, I'm not into it today. And we're going back and forth. I was just like, I don't want to do it. So, so that was an issue, but he ended up not doing anything. So, or a guy hitting me on the Brooklyn Bridge and says, give me your wallet. I say, I'm not into it today. I mean, boom, you walk away. And they don't know what to do. Or I go into a Midtown McDonald's and sit down. Fucking button.